Eileen Gu had the most iconic response to reporter who asked if silver medal was a disappointment. We're sending our congrats to five-time Olympic medalist Eileen Gu, who made history when she won 2 silver medals at the 2026 Winter Olympics. She officially became the most decorated female freeskier in Olympic history after winning second place in the freeski slopestyle event on February 16th. During a press conference following the event, a reporter asked Eileen whether she considered her new medals 2 silvers gained or 2 golds lost. And, dear reader, she had the most iconic response. I'm the most decorated female freeskier in history. I think that's an answer in and of itself, she said, after laughing into the microphone. How do I say this? Winning a medal at the Olympics is a life-changing experience for every athlete. Doing it 5 times is exponentially harder, because every medal is equally hard for me. But everybody else's expectations rise, right? Eileen added, so, the 2 medals lost situation, to be quite frank with you, I think, is kind of a ridiculous perspective to take. I'm showcasing my best skiing. I'm doing things that quite literally have never been done before, and so I think that is more than good enough. But thank you. The 22-year-old athlete, who was born in the U.S. but has competed for China since 2019, also addressed the backlash she's faced for not competing on behalf of Team USA. I'm here because I want to be, not just because it's a default option for me. I've said if I wanted to retire and feel good about myself for the rest of my life, I could. But I don't because I love this sport now more than ever, Eileen shared of her Olympics experience. The feeling of pushing past who I was yesterday and becoming a little bit better tomorrow is something that is truly addictive and something that I'm so in love with. I think last Olympics was an opportunity and this Olympics is a privilege. ICYMI. Eileen won 2 gold medals and a silver medal during the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. After her 2 silver wins at the Milan Cortina Games, she's set to compete for a 3rd medal at the freeski halfpipe event on Thursday, February 19th. Here's hoping she gets on the podium again. That's the part people remember most. How little the question seemed to move her, even though it was designed to. The reporter's tone carried the familiar hook. Was silver a disappointment? It was the kind of question that tries to shrink a moment the world can't stop watching into a single, clickable emotion. It assumes a ladder where only the top rung counts. It assumes that if you aren't first, you're secretly failing. And yet Gu's face didn't tighten. Her voice didn't sharpen. She didn't reach for a defensive joke or a rehearsed cliché. She simply answered like someone who had already decided what the moment meant, before anyone else got to label it for her. In sports, questions like that are ritual. They arrive in the same predictable packaging as the medal ceremony. Cameras, microphones, forced smiles, and a narrative machine hungry for a tidy ending. Gold equals triumph. Anything else equals heartbreak. The world loves the clean symmetry of it. But life, and especially elite competition, rarely fits neatly into those boxes. Eileen Gu's response, iconic not because it was loud, but because it was clear, cut through the whole script. She didn't let the conversation be owned by the premise that silver is a kind of almost. She treated it as what it actually is, proof of excellence, a record of a day when she performed at the highest level on earth, and a moment that belongs to her, not to a scoreboard's hierarchy, and definitely not to a stranger's expectation of how she should feel. That's power. Quiet power. The trap hidden in the question. Was silver a disappointment? Sounds harmless if you say it fast enough, but it contains a subtle trap. It asks the athlete to confess inadequacy right on cue. It asks for regret, for tears, for drama. It treats the medal as a verdict rather than an achievement. It's also a question that would rarely be asked with the same intensity if the athlete weren't young, famous, and, let's be honest, carrying an entire pop cultural spotlight. With Eileen Gu, the attention is multiplied. She isn't just a competitor. She's a symbol for different audiences, a headline generator, a walking intersection of sport, youth culture, global identity, and ambition. When someone like her wins gold, the story is glossy. When she wins silver, some people rush to see if the shine cracks. That's why her response mattered. Because she refused to crack on demand. She refused to be reduced to a reaction shot. A different way to measure winning. Imagine what it takes to stand at the edge of a course where everything happens in seconds. The slope is steep, the air is thin, the margins are microscopic, and the body is carrying a library of rehearsed movements, each one learned through bruises, repetition, and the kind of boredom most people mistake for talent. Now imagine doing that with an entire planet watching. There are only a few types of people who can thrive there. The ones who chase perfection until it eats them. The ones who decide that pressure is a kind of weather, unavoidable, sometimes violent, but not personal. The ones who redefine the whole idea of the scoreboard. Gu's most iconic responses, whether to a reporter, a camera, or a moment, tend to come from that third category. She has a way of speaking that doesn't beg for approval. She doesn't ask the world what she should feel. She tells the world what she chooses to value. That's why a question meant to corner her ended up exposing the narrowness of the question instead. Because disappointment is not an automatic consequence of Silva. It's an interpretation. A story someone wants to attach, and she didn't accept the attachment. The elegance of refusing the sad Silva narrative. There's an old myth in sports storytelling. The silver medalist is the saddest person on the podium. It's a myth repeated so often it starts to sound like wisdom. But it's mostly a lazy narrative. Silver can mean, you landed what you came to land. You pushed the limits and found out where they currently are. You competed clean and fearless. You stood second in the world on a day when the best people alive were also at their best. You're leaving with proof you belong in the rarest day. Or silver can mean, you missed by a breath, and it hurts, and you're human, and you'll replay it for weeks. Both can be true in different moments. The point is the athlete gets to decide which story is honest. Not the interview. Not the timeline. Not the highlight reel. What made Gu's response iconic is that she gave herself permission to be proud. Completely, unapologetically proud. That kind of self-possession is rare, especially in a culture that tries to teach high achievers that gratitude is only acceptable when mixed with self-criticism. She didn't do the expected thing. She didn't kneel to the gold-or-nothing religion. She spoke like a person who understands something many adults never learn. You can be ambitious without being ungrateful. You can want more without calling what you got less. Confidence without cruelty. The internet often celebrates iconic responses when they are sharp, when they embarrass someone, when they create a moment of humiliation that people can replay like a victory lap. But Gu's kind of iconic isn't cruel. It's cleaner than that.